chosen one, what follows is not a coincidence. If you are hearing this message, it is because a deeper transformation is already underway in your life. A significant shift, spiritual, personal, and global, is approaching. According to spiritual perspectives long held in various traditions, this period marks a unique moment for a select group. Individuals often referred to as the chosen ones. This terminology is not meant to elevate or exclude. Rather, it reflects the spiritual readiness of a small percentage of individuals, approximately 1%, who are aligned with a higher frequency of awareness. These individuals are believed to be attuned to signals of change that most others do not yet perceive. If you resonate with this, it's because you may be one of them. The signs of a larger shift are becoming increasingly visible. Around the EO world, rapid changes in human consciousness, social systems, and environmental patterns are taking place. These changes are not random disruptions. Instead, many view them as part of a broader spiritual awakening, a reorientation of the human soul away from material distraction and toward divine connection. For those regarded as chosen ones, this is not merely a theoretical idea. It is a lived experience. Many report feeling a deep sense of purpose, a sense of urgency, and an intuitive awareness that something larger is unfolding. These inner stirrings are not accidental. They are often described as a divine preparation for what some call the rapture, a moment of spiritual elevation and transformation. The concept of the rapture, often misunderstood or dramatized, is not necessarily about physical removal from the earth. Rather, it can be interpreted as a state of consciousness in which the individual is drawn into closer unity with divine truth. For those undergoing this experience, it will feel like a shift in the very foundation of their reality. You may not see it coming in the traditional sense. There may be no dramatic signs, no clear announcement. But internally, the chosen ones will begin to feel changes, subtle at first, then undeniable. A new clarity may begin to take hold. Old doubts may dissolve. Priorities will shift, and the things that once seemed important may fall away. According to spiritual perspectives, this transformation is not a result of human effort alone. It is believed to be orchestrated by divine intelligence, timed precisely. For those who are spiritually prepared, it is a moment not just of personal change, but of cosmic alignment. The old systems, social, mental, emotional, are beginning to unravel, not in punishment, but to make way for something new. This is not a process without discomfort. Spiritual transformation is often accompanied by a sense of loss or confusion, especially in its early stages. Chosen ones may find themselves questioning their surroundings, their roles, or even their relationships. But these shifts are signs of growth, not decline. The soul is shedding what no longer serves in order to make room for something higher. It is important to understand that this transformation is not for everyone at the same time. Just as flowers bloom in their season, so too does spiritual awakening occur at its appointed time for each soul. The fact that you are engaging with this message may indicate that your season has arrived. This rapture, this internal elevation, is not loud or forceful. It comes quietly, often during stillness, prayer, or meditation. It begins as a feeling of being called to something higher. The more one listens, the clearer the call becomes. This journey is not without guidance. According to spiritual beliefs, the divine does not abandon the chosen. Instead, support comes through intuition, synchronicities, and an unshakable sense of inner knowing. What once felt uncertain begins to feel inevitable. Those who are undergoing this transformation will begin to experience what many describe as a thinning of the veil. The divide between the material and the spiritual becomes less defined. Insights arrive more frequently. Peace begins to replace worry, and a deep sense of purpose starts to take shape. It is natural to question why you have been chosen. The answer may not be found in logic, but in your soul's readiness. Some have walked lifetimes to reach this point. Others have undergone trials that shaped their inner strength. All of it, according to spiritual teachings, has been preparation for what now unfolds. The world you once knew may begin to look different, not because it has changed externally, but because your perception of it has evolved. This is a sign that you are aligning with the higher dimension often referred to as 5D, where awareness, love, and connection are central, and fear holds no power. This is not a final destination. It is the beginning of a new phase, a sacred transition. The divine is not asking for perfection, but for openness. The time for hesitation has passed. The time for alignment has come. You are not alone in this. Others are awakening as well, each experiencing the process uniquely, yet collectively, moving toward the same light. There is strength in knowing that this transformation is not an isolated event. It is part of a greater movement of consciousness rising across the planet. This message is not meant to inspire fear or urgency, but to remind you of the truth that has always been within you. If you feel called, then perhaps you are already walking the path of the chosen. As the chosen one continues on this path of transformation, subtle changes begin to solidify. What once appeared abstract begins to take on practical form. Actions grow more intentional, thoughts more focused, and spiritual clarity becomes a consistent inner state rather than an occasional experience. These changes are not the result of coincidence. They are the marks of alignment. At this stage, many chosen ones report an internal sense of peace that is unaffected by external conditions. This peace is not passive or indifferent. It is grounded. It stems from the growing awareness that their journey is no longer being dictated by surface-level concerns. Instead, they are led by something deeper: divine timing. Divine timing refers to the natural unfolding of events in a way that aligns with higher purpose. It is not governed by the clock, nor is it influenced by social pressure. For the chosen one, divine timing becomes a framework that replaces urgency with patience and confusion with quiet trust. This shift can be disorienting at first. In a world that prioritizes speed, waiting can feel like stagnation. But for those walking in spiritual alignment, the wait is preparation. During this phase, many will begin to withdraw, not in retreat, but in recalibration. Time spent alone, away from noise and influence, becomes necessary. This period of solitude allows the chosen one to listen more closely, to discern between distractions and true callings. It is not about isolation, it is about refinement. Simultaneously, relationships may shift. Some connections may fall away naturally, while others deepen. The chosen one may notice that they are attracting individuals on similar paths, those who offer support, wisdom, or simply understanding. These connections are not random. They are aligned encounters, intended to reinforce the chosen one's growth and mirror the evolving spiritual state. One of the most defining characteristics of this period is increased sensitivity, not just emotionally, but spiritually. Intuition sharpens, patterns become more visible. Messages arrive in forms once overlooked: a phrase, a number, a recurring symbol. The chosen one no longer dismisses these as random. Instead, they are recognized as signs, a form of guidance, unique to each individual's path. As internal awareness strengthens, so too does the external shift. Life begins to reflect the inner transformation. Opportunities that once seemed blocked begin to open. Problems that once felt overwhelming begin to dissolve or reveal their purpose. These changes are not always dramatic. Often, they are quiet, but steady, reinforcing the truth that divine timing is now leading the way. This path, however, still demands responsibility. With spiritual clarity comes spiritual accountability. The chosen one understands that their words carry weight. Their choices influence more than just their immediate surroundings. They are now stewards of insight, and that role requires consistency, humility, and discernment. In practical terms, this might look like redefining success. Traditional markers, status, wealth, recognition, lose their grip. Instead, fulfillment is measured by alignment. Am I where I am meant to be? Am I contributing authentically? Am I living from a place of truth? These questions guide decision-making and prevent regression into patterns of distraction or ego. Importantly, the chosen one does not operate from fear. They are aware of global instability, personal setbacks, and systemic challenges, but their foundation is internal. While others react, they respond. This distinction allows them to remain grounded, even when external circumstances are shifting. It is also during this phase that many begin to step into roles of quiet leadership, not necessarily through titles or platforms, but through presence. The chosen one becomes a model of stability, an anchor for others navigating uncertainty. This leadership is not loud. It is observed in consistency, empathy, and clarity. It is influence without imposition. Dreams, too, may take on greater significance. Nighttime becomes another window for communication, where unresolved questions are explored and guidance continues. The veil between conscious and subconscious thins, allowing insight to flow more freely. The chosen one does not fear these messages. They receive them with curiosity and reflection. As transformation continues, the chosen one begins to see their own story differently. What once seemed like setbacks are now viewed as initiations. What once felt like delays are now understood as divine protection. This reframing is not about denial, it is about deeper understanding. At a collective level, the rise of chosen ones across the world is part of a larger shift, a movement away from fragmentation and toward spiritual cohesion. Each individual's awakening contributes to the whole. Though the journey is personal, its effects are communal. This global transformation does not require everyone to awaken simultaneously. Rather, it follows a wave-like pattern. Some rise early to prepare the way for others, and those who are ready now, the ones listening to this message, are among the early wave. Your clarity, your peace, your alignment will ripple outward. There will still be tests, moments when doubt resurfaces or external noise grows loud. In those times, the chosen one is reminded to return to stillness, not to escape, but to reconnect, to remember what is true and what is simply temporary distraction. Anchoring in practices that nourish the spirit becomes essential. Whether through prayer, meditation, mindful movement, or creative expression, these tools keep the chosen one aligned. They are not luxuries, they are lifelines. And with each cycle of reflection and recommitment, the chosen one grows more resilient, not hardened, but refined. Their presence becomes a quiet force, steady, assured, and deeply rooted in truth. This stage of transformation is not the end. It is a beginning. The chosen one's path will continue to unfold in layers. But now, there is structure, there is rhythm, there is purpose. You may not have all the answers. You may still face questions. But the presence you carry, the clarity, the peace, the insight, is evidence that your steps are aligned.